Hey there everybody, Mazarok here, and today I want to talk about best in slot lists for tanks and give my opinion on how to approach them. I've seen a lot of varying opinions and I kind of do things a little bit of a certain way, but sometimes when you're gearing as a tank, you have to make certain decisions. And we're going to talk about those. So, before we do get into it though, please do like, comment, subscribe. It goes such a long way towards helping out the channel. There is a Discord link down below if you want to join a wonderful community full of great people, as well as a Twitch link. I stream, sweet. And of course, I cannot do this video without the love and support of my patrons, who get early access content, exclusive content, lots of good stuff for my patrons down below. And there's a Teespring link down below for some pretty sweet merchandise as well. Alright, so best in slot list. Now, before I get into any sort of opinion or anything of the sort, there are many sources of best in slot lists. Wowhead, Icy Veins, and a lot of other content creators put out a best in slot list, and they are doing amazing work. Okay, I have to get that clear. I don't want this video to be some sort of thing of ignore them or anything. Don't look at them. They're amazing guides. They really are. But what happens is everyone takes a lot, not everyone, sorry, that's a generalization. A lot of people take that guide and say, that piece is my BIS. I absolutely need it. It has to happen and I have to equip it right now. But do you though? The reason a lot of those BIS lists exist is the perfect picture puzzle of every single one of those pieces combined is mathematically designed to give you the most amount of damage and survivability and all of that fun stuff. But the thing is you have to ask yourself as a tank that's gearing, is this one particular piece going to fuck with my secondaries enough that I can't equip it right now? There's a lot of people that say, have seen my vault videos or seen some of my gearing options, and they're like, well, that's your BIS, why is it not equipped? Because if I equip this leg pant, these pants right now, I'm going to lose 6% haste, which will drop me below the threshold and will make the spec feel terrible to play. And is just going to not be fun. I have them. They're in my bags, and when I can start swapping some of the gear around for what I need, I will equip them. Because the thing is when you have the whole puzzle, it's mathematically the best that you can get. But if you're missing 2 or 3 pieces and the stats are swapped around them, you can quickly go from best in slot to not very good at all. And this is something you as a tank have to understand when you are gearing, right? You might get all of your best in slot pieces that have no haste on them, and some of your other pieces of gear might have no haste on them as well. You don't want to go into a dungeon with 10% haste or less, unless you're a brewmaster, of course, but you can swap the secondary stats around for any of the important stats for tanks and work that around. And just because something is on your best in slot list doesn't necessarily mean it's your best in slot right at this moment, because if you're missing pieces of the puzzle, it can really mess around everything that you're trying to build and go for. So especially while you're gearing in the early process, try and chase those priority stats first. And as you're chasing those priority stats, you use the best in slot list as a really good guide to be like, okay, this is where I want to go, this is what I'm after, this is what I'm going, and this is what I'm chasing. But the puzzle isn't made by taking all the pieces and flattening them out and puzzles made. It's one piece at a time. And when you're doing one piece at a time, you have to be aware of how changing a puzzle piece will work. Okay? That's kind of how it's going to, that's what it's going to do. So just because something is your best in slot right then and there doesn't necessarily mean it's your best in slot right now. And that's the thing that I have to stress to new people picking up tanking. Like I said before, these guides and the people that do this do absolutely amazing work. And taking a look at those best in slot lists are absolutely something that is worth doing all of the time. But how you approach it, how you perceive it, how you view it in the process of gearing is kind of what I think needs to start changing in the community. So many times in the community, I see people just be like, it's my best in slot, I have to equip it right now, or you're dumb for not taking it right now. Because you also have to look at how this best in slot list is created. This best in slot list is created with the idea that you're going to be doing all of the most difficult content and getting all of these pieces at the highest item level possible for every bit of that secondary stat math to really work out. And sometimes that just isn't going to work for you. We don't all raid at a mythic level, and luck is also a factor, right? Like, you know, let's say you have, like, the Beacon of Beyond is pretty much on everyone's BIS list. We can just use that as kind of a static. Here we go. That's going to have X amount of mastery. Well, X amount of mastery might change how much mastery you want on your other pieces of gear when you're getting that. You might want a little bit more if you don't have a beacon, because it's not the easiest trinket to get. Everybody wants it, right? So you have to take these sort of things into account when you're going into your list. Now, some tanks don't want mastery at all or don't care, and it's kind of their dump stat. Some of them kind of really like it. So it's one of those things where you have to know your spec enough, know your secondaries enough to know, hey, I need this amount, I want this amount, it kind of feels bad when I don't play without this, I need to bump this up a little bit. If I equip this piece, I'm going to lose so much haste, or whatever, and do the math there. Because unfortunately, simming for tanks is not really an option. You can sim for pure damage, but you can't sim for survivability. And that's something that you as a tank have to learn. Okay, I equipped this piece, but I really felt less tanky, or I felt less survivable, and it felt bad. Is it something I can work around? Is it something I can plan around? And kind of move along that way there. But I think the community perception on how we view best in slot lists kind of needs to change a little bit throughout the gearing process. Yes, that is the goal to get to. But it's one piece at a time. And how does that piece affect your gameplay? Thank you very much for watching the video. Have yourself a good one. Happy tanking.